Power Book 3 Raising Kanan will answer so many questions that were asked in my teaser breakdown video, and July 18th when Raising Kanan finally airs, we'll finally start to see the backstory of Kanan Stark. But the history of Power and the Power universe doesn't just stop at a young Kanan. There was dialogue in Power, questions raised in Power about who is Breeze, who killed Ghost's father, could we see any of the TARDIS in Raising Kanan, and will we see a young Tommy and Ghost? I'm diving deep into everything we know so far, what we need to look out for, and what questions we need answered throughout the course of Power Book 3 Raising Kanan. So with that being said, remember to watch this video fully till the end, and if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the like button as well as the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Universe related, especially with Raising Kanan starting in July. So let's get into everything we know, and then I'm going to come to the questions that we need to find the answers to, and hopefully what they show us at some point. Not necessarily in the first season, but Raising Kanan, it will start in 1991, but keep in mind we're going to see an even younger version of Kanan, so it could be a flashback moment, or they could even start off with this in the very first episode. But Kanan, I believe we're going to see a character who will accept himself for who he is very early on. Kanan was destined for the streets, and we even hear him in the latest teaser that he wants to get out on the corners, but it's his mother Raquel who has to tell him to stay out of grown folks' business. But eventually Raquel will come around to the idea of who Kanan is, just a reflection of herself, and maybe early on to accept Kanan for who he is. We saw her give Kanan this gun in the music video that 50 released, and this is her accepting for Kanan for who he is, because in the streets he's gonna have to protect himself at all times. I don't know whether we'll see him getting his first kill in season 1, maybe towards the end, but it was mentioned in a conversation between Kanan and Jukebox in season 3 episode 3 that Jukebox was the first person that Kanan called when he dropped his first body. Kanan was also the first person to know that Jukebox digged girls, so these two had a really close relationship as they grew up, and this is what we're going to see, keeping in the back of our minds that Jukebox also knew Ghost. She described Ghost as a kid that always had his head in a book, but vicious with a piece. So at some point Jukebox was around when Ghost was there, when James St. Patrick adopted the nickname of Ghost. Whether we'll see that in a later season is yet to be seen, but I hope we do when and if they introduce a young James and Tommy. But Jukebox, she's going to be a kid when we're first introduced to her, so I don't think we should expect her to be the cold and ruthless character that we saw in Power, but eventually she will get there. We will see it sooner or later. We'll see some romance from Jukebox's character as well with Nicole, as Nicole catches Jukebox's eye at choir competition, sparking a romance that blossoms despite the girls' widely different backgrounds. So there's going to be plenty of romance and drama when it comes to Jukebox and Kanans relationships. But I would urge everybody to go back and watch season 3 episode 4, just this scene between Jukebox and Kanan, because it really is an eye-opener and telling about their relationship, about their history, and what we can expect from their characters in Raising Kanan. So make sure you watch that scene just before Raising Kanan starts. But one of the most important things that I think we will see throughout not just season 1 but throughout the series is Kanan's relationship with his mother Raquel. So this is Raquel. She goes by the name of Rack. She's described as cold, hard and fierce, a successful and deadly woman taking her name in a man's world. She's tough, resolute, ruthless, and yet Rack is capable of love. Great love. The sole recipient of the affection is her son Kanan. He is everything to her. As much as she cares for him though, there are many instances where she wonders if she loves him for who he is, or if she loves him merely for an extension for herself. The middle child of 3, Rack also carries a heavy burden as a sole earner for her 2 brothers. Rack is the sun, and everything else in the universe exists in her orbit. So I read through this character description of Raquel's character, and one thing sprung to mind straight away: the love and the affection that she has for Kanan. She sees Kanan as an extension for herself, and it genuinely reminds me of a Tariq and Tasha relationship in Power and Power Book 2 Ghost, the love and affection that they have for one another, and the fact that Tasha sees this potential in Tariq that he can be better than Ghost, which was mentioned in season 6 episode 7. So this is the type of relationship that we could see from Raquel and Kanan, because in essence Tasha eventually accepted Tariq for who he is. Okay Reek, I'm gonna teach you the game. And Raquel is gonna accept Kanan for who he is, just as I mentioned before with Raquel giving Kanan this gun. But that's just one trait they have similar. Raquel is a woman taking a name in a man's world. She's the breadwinner for her 2 brothers, who we have Marvin and Lulu. These are Raquel's brothers, and Marvin being Jukebox's father. So in essence, the family Kanan has that we know so far is his mum Raquel, Jukebox, Marvin and Lulu. Of course, there are going to be other characters that we haven't been introduced to yet, one of them being Omar Epps, who's going to be playing Detective Howard, and there's always at least one dirty cop, so expect him to be that dirty cop in Raising Kanan, but in the form of an extended family for Kanan. Don't forget, blood doesn't necessarily make you family. We have Scrappy. Now Scrappy is going to be a character who we're going to see reluctantly mentor Kanan in the streets. Kanan would have grown up with many mentors, and Scrappy is going to be one of the very first. He's a character who's tough and stubborn, and one of Rack's most trusted soldiers, with the street savvy be as strong as his heart and loyalty to his crew. He reluctantly watches over Kanan and teaches him the inner workings of the family business. So we may not necessarily see a close relationship between the two, but Scrappy will be a mentor to Kanan as he teaches him how the family business works. And what's going to be the fate of Scrappy? We never heard him being mentioned in Power, but we know Kanan said you ain't a real killer till you've killed someone you love. So who did Kanan kill that he loved? That's one of the questions that we need answering sometime in Power Book 3 Raising Kanan. So with that being said, let's go on to some of the questions that we need answering in Power Book 3 Raising Kanan. One of the main questions is, who is Breeze? So let's rewind it all the way back to season 2 when the first time Breeze was mentioned by Kanan in a conversation between him and Ghost. He said, why would a roller want to take you out? You're the boss. It's the same thing you did to Breeze. Ghost killed Breeze in this apartment. So at some point we're going to be introduced to this mystery character Breeze. He's also one of the main mentors for Kanan as well. Ghost eventually took him out because he wanted to be the boss. Ghost also sent Kanan up to go to prison because he never really shared the same vision as him. Tasha wanted Ghost to kill Kanan, but Ghost could never, not at that particular time anyway. So Breeze is a character that we need to see. Not sure if this will happen in season 1, but eventually I do think we'll see him. But one of the questions that I'm particularly most interested in is something that I've been questioning ever since this conversation between Uncle Gabe and Ghost in season 6 episode 10. This is another scene that I would urge you guys to go and rewatch because one of the most important talking points from this conversation was Uncle Gabe. He hadn't seen Ghost since the night Ghost's father was killed. Ghost looked very emotional in this scene, like when you have the lump at the back of your throat sort of moment and can't get your words out. He mentioned that he lived with Tommy, and we know growing up Ghost lived with Kate and Tommy Egan, which is why Kate considers James as much as a son as she does Tommy. But Uncle Gabe said, I tried to tell your father that we needed to pay those drug dealers to leave us alone. So Uncle Gabe's father tried to convince Ghost's father not to talk to the police, and those kids were bad news. So who were the kids that killed Ghost's father? And this is such an interesting topic, and I hope one we see play out in Raising Kanan at some point. For those who have been subscribed to my channel for a while, know I've mentioned a father and son killing theme, with Tommy killing Tony Teresi, Kanan killing Sean, and Tariq killing Ghost. So it really made me wonder whether Ghost was the one who killed his own father, but I personally don't think it played out that way. I don't think Ghost did kill his own father in my opinion. But what I do think is possible is Kanan and Breeze could have been the one to kill Ghost's father, and Ghost not know about it. So hopefully this is something we'll see in Raising Kanan at a later date, and of course we know how Kanan's story ended. But there are still so many unanswered questions, which is crazy, and this is why I think Power Book 3 Raising Kanan will be one of the best shows. But let's talk about Tommy and Ghost. A young Tommy and Ghost, will we eventually see them on Power Book 3? I personally think so. I think we'll be introduced to them later on down the line because Ghost and Tommy are a part of Kanan's story. We saw this in the little teaser that they finished with after Power, which was just a little tease for Power Book 3 Raising Kanan. But I do think we'll see Tommy and James, I guess, before they call him Ghost. Could we possibly see any of the characters they have links to and ties within the Power universe, such as Power Book 2 Ghost the Tarders? No doubt I think there will be some sort of connections that will be dropped from time to time. Could we even see a Tahada name be mentioned? Not necessarily Monet because she's from Brooklyn, but could we hear a name being mentioned that rings a bell or has ties with Power or Power Book 2 Ghost? I'm sure there could be some subtle hints to the original show or Power Book 2 Ghost. So many questions, so many things to look out for, and this is why Raising Kanan will be one of the most watched Power spin-offs in my opinion. So those are the main talking points we know so far, and some of the main questions I hope we have answered throughout the series. So let me know your thoughts, drop them down below on Power Book 3 Raising Kanan. And by the way, a huge shout out to Courtney Kemp who reposted me on Instagram the other day, which blew my notifications up, which was nice to see. So if you're watching, thank you again, and for those who don't follow me on Instagram, I'm going to drop my IG handle on the screen and in the description down below. Drop me a follow, and of course remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Universe related, because from July it will be Power Book 3 Raising Kanan, Power Book 4 Forced to come as well, and Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2. So remember to smash the subscribe button. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.